I mean, I think about this, and as we talk about this idea of compounding, right? Of, man, can you imagine one date night a week for 40 years?
Wow.
Like what that would do to your balance.
Yeah.
Like, or that 10 minutes a day, every single day of just eye-to-eye contact, just conversation, no distractions, 10 minutes a day, every day for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like that compounds to an awesome marriage, to an amazing marriage. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate Marriagecast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 133. We are so glad you're joining us today, and we're proud of you for making this investment in your relationship. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Ryan, how's it going?
Oh, it is going fantastic. It's a beautiful day outside.
It is gorgeous out. I think our son is playing basketball right now with Grandma Nancy.
Absolutely.
And it got a couple of walks in today, which is great. And I love this weather.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. I feel like, do you notice that people are just happier at work when it's nice out?
Yeah.
Like last Friday was super nice and people were pretty happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are we talking about today, Ryan?
Michelle, I'm super excited about today. Speaking of work, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about investing.
Okay.
Investing 101.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
You guys know that Ryan does financial planning for work.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring your expertise to the show today.
Yeah.
But applying it to marriage.
Absolutely. So.
All right. Ryan, I'm excited for your wisdom.
Yes. Michelle, Albert Einstein, who was a pretty smart guy, probably way smarter than me.
I like that you said probably. You never know.
Hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, he once said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So I'm going to give you just a quick synopsis here of how this worked.
Okay.
I feel like a year ago, maybe I was explaining this to our daughter and it just like blew her mind. So
yeah, and she has some investments and she's doing pretty well for herself.
Yeah, she's grabbing onto this concept. So I'm going to give just hypothetical here. This is all hypothetical, but it's really cool because it demonstrates how this works.
All right.
So compound interest. Here we go. Okay, let's say you had $10,000 today to invest and you were able to earn 10% on your money each year.
Okay.
So, what does that look like? So after the first year, you would have $11,000.
Because 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. So 10 plus 1.
It grows.
Yep.
Right? It grows. Okay, this is where it gets fun. Because then the next year you earn 10% on not the 10,000, but 11,000. And so it continues to grow. So let me give you some numbers here. So after the fifth year, your $10,000 would turn into $16,105.10. Okay.
So we're 50% return so far.
So,
pretty good.
Again, this is just hypothetical here. Okay. So 10 years. So that $10,000 you invested would turn into $25,937.42.
And this is not somebody putting extra money in.
This is just one time.
10,000.
One time.
Okay.
Right? Right. Okay. So after 20 years, that turns into $67,275.
Woo! If I could whistle, I would whistle right now.
Yeah. So, but here, Michelle, this is where it gets really fun. Okay. 30 years.
Okay.
That $10,000 turns into $174,494.02.
Woo!
Wow. Okay.
So I think of like our daughter, she started investing as soon as she turned 14. So for her, that 30 years is like 44 years old.
But let me give you one more.
Keep going.
Okay. Let me give you 40 years. 40 years, that 10,000 turns into $452,592.56.
Woo!
Pretty amazing.
It's a lot of money.
Truly
from that 10,000.
Yes, the eighth wonder of the world. Truly. Michelle, but here's where I want to pivot a little bit, because we live in a culture that wants that get rich quick. How do I find that next big thing, that one thing? But I want to let you in on a little secret. And it's the secret to, I think, building wealth. It's the secret to investing is time and small disciplines. And I think that directly translates to marriage. Right? The secret to an amazing marriage is not one thing, but it's time and small disciplines.
Yeah. Right. I love that so much, because anybody can do small things over time.
Yeah.
And it's so achievable. It's not one big grandiose thing that we're asking you to do today. We're going to give you some tips and principles for small little things that you can implement over time and see some results.
Yeah, and the whole idea, Michelle, is these small things compounded over 40 years will just turn into, like, the fruit of that is crazy.
Yeah, so let's have a conversation around these, and maybe we can share some examples of our own life too. And Ryan, I love this take on it. I love the investment take, and people are probably thinking, oh my gosh, I need to start investing money as well. So you can certainly do that too. That is a good, best financial practice, but we are talking specifically relationships. So as Ryan said, we're going to talk about two principles here. So the first one is about time. An amazing marriage takes time. And like Ryan said, there's not a get rich quick scheme for marriage. And even if there was, every couple is different.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not just like a standard recipe. We share examples from our lives all the time, but we understand your guys' marriages are different than ours. So what's worked for us might not work for you. But it's important to note that marriages change over time. We've talked about that too. There's different seasons. So maybe even what's worked for you in the past might not be working now. So the key is time. Continued growth over time is what is going to yield amazing marriages. I say this often in leadership. Consistency over time always yields results. With marketing, with life, with small micro habits that you implement, consistency over time always yields results.
Yeah.
So there's a quote by author James Clear, and he said that if you were to do something 1%, if you got 1% better every day over the course of a year, you would have been increasing yourself. You would have gotten 37 times better over the course of 1 year. Because you think about that too, it compounds. So you're not just getting the 360%, it's like compounded on each of that. So if every day 1%, then you're getting 1% of the previous you better every single day. So over that year, 37 times better.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, I'm going to pull up this quote just so I can make sure that I'm saying it as he did. And on the flip side, he found that I had a re-sign in here. Okay. If you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline down to nearly zero. So what starts as a small win or minor setback accumulates into something much more. But on the flip side, if you're not intentionally growing, that negative 1% each day will bring you almost to zero.
Wow.
Which is pretty astonishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Michelle, I think for us, this is,
let's give examples.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably two really big ones that come to my head. And I think part of it is, like, we've shared this so often. Communication is really like key. But that's like, we've figured this out over time.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 15 years of marriage. And I feel like the key to this has been just continuing to learn.
Yeah.
And continuing to get better, where I learn, I've learned how to communicate.
Mm-hmm. You're a student of me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And I think I just started a new job, and I am just reminded that communication is something that you have to actively work on, depending on, communication is something you have to actively work on, but it also depends on their personality type and different styles. So in our relationship, we've had to become students of each other to be able to resolve, conflict and to just be able to be understood and understand the other.
Yeah. And that takes time. It takes time, and it takes time to learn.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, Michelle, even to change in different seasons of things that happen, of kids growing up and moving out of the house, or new jobs, or whatever it is. It's constantly, I think, changing. And that's where time, part of the longer we've been married, I've learned, how to address different situations.
Sure. So communication's one. You said two things.
Yeah.
I have a few too.
Yeah, no, well, you go ahead, and then we'll come back.
Well, I think that we are intentional about learning through different development opportunities. So we talked about the leadership retreat that we went to. It was a mindset retreat, and it was over the course of a whole weekend. We did it together. Pastor Reed DeVries talks about that often when they were on our show. Pastor Reed and Cindy were on our show. They talked about doing some kind of a marriage retreat every year just to continue to learn about each other and to grow. So I feel like that was a really good example of what we did recently.
Yeah.
And then I think we were talking about this just preparing for the show, but church, every weekend we are learning and growing in our faith, and that compounded over time has been dramatic. You think about one Sunday a week, but maybe that doesn't seem like a lot, but one Sunday a week times, I don't know, probably 45 plus weeks a year times 18 years. Do you have that math?
No, I don't. I'm not smarter than Albert Einstein. Let's just be clear on this.
810.
Yeah.
So since we've, and that's a low estimate, we're probably in church more than that. I would say we're probably closer to almost being at the 50. I mean, it's got to be pretty extreme for us not to be here. And even when we're out of town, we would find a church plant to go to or something. So, but over the course of our relationship, dating and married relationship, we would have been in church together 810 times.
Yeah.
Probably close to 1,000 hours of being in church. So do you think that's made a difference in our marriage and our relationship? We were talking about this, and we might do a show on this. I think we should, but just seeing a lot of pictures of people missing church on the weekend for sports. And it's really heartbreaking because it feels like sports have now become your God. And I think that's something we've never wavered in. We've just been very adamant that if we want the fruits of a godly marriage, if we want to continue growing, we need to be around this community. We need to be learning. We need to be around people that are going to hold us accountable. And it's just a non-negotiable. And I think that has yielded results. Yeah. I know that it has.
Oh, for sure. So, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What else did you have?
Michelle, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to get too get too spicy here, but
I love it when you get spicy, Ryan.
No, but I think also just, again, I'm not going to dive into this, but I think even when it comes to intimacy, I think time can make your intimacy so much better because you're a constant learner of your spouse.
Sure.
And I think it just improves intimacy. And I think that's something that, I will say, like, for us, I think it definitely, as we look at like compounding,
sure,
it's one of those things that just constantly being a learner of your spouse, it will drastically improve your intimacy.
Yeah. Woo.
Sorry.
Woo woo. Yeah, no, that's great, Ryan. I think because you're also approaching it as, like you said, being a student of your spouse, and we've done shows on this before too, but not just being like selfish about it, but really like, how can I pour into my spouse all day long? How can I do things to fan the flame and to really foster that intimacy? And you've gotten great at that, and vice versa. So I think that's great. Yeah, it's totally valid.
And I mean, I don't think that only means. I mean that doesn't only mean physical intimacy. I mean, part of it's just knowing and learning and growing in connection. Mm-hmm. You know, we've shared this. We've shared this so many times that like I've had to put like alarms in my phone just to check in with you.
Yeah.
You know, of just like, hey, I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna connect with Michelle at 10 a.m. because I need to communicate with her. I can't just be gone like apart all day long and not have any connection.
Right. And we've said this hundreds of times, but intimacy is intimacy. So being able to be vulnerable and connect with your spouse. So that's great, Ryan. And then I think just a few others I hate here when it talks about continuing to learn is books. We're reading books, we're growing. Life group, I think we'll talk about that maybe a little in the next section here, but the leadership retreats and things that we've done, podcasts, you guys are doing that right now, and just continuing to grow and knowing that you're either daily moving in a better direction or worse. There's really no such thing as just staying in one spot. You're truly always moving in a direction. So which way are you going?
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, the other really key, that I shared in the beginning here is this idea of these small disciplines.
Okay.
So what are these? Like when it comes to investing, it comes down to the savings, right? It's the action. Maybe it's, you're saving a certain percentage of your income.
Sure, like from your paycheck every week or every other week.
Right. Or, maybe you're budgeting, and maybe that means skipping, the fast food or canceling the Netflix subscription or not drinking $6 coffees.
But you're not talking to me.
No way.
No way. But really, no, you're right. What is it for you? And for us, we've made that decision. Hey, coffee is fine, but there's other areas we're going to eat at home this many nights and stuff like that.
Right.
We even, we had a couple over, it's been a month or so now, but they had said, hey, we're so glad that you invited us over for dinner because now we have more money in our food budget for, for tomorrow or whatever. Right. But I thought that was so endearing because one, it was really great to have them over and we were happy, to do that. But it just warmed my heart that here's this young couple and they're really living that out. They were trying to budget and sticking to that. And they knew, hey, we have this much for food. And, because the O'Connors are going to feed us this day, then we have a little bit more for the next day. But just those small things add up over time.
Yeah, it's those small disciplines. And I think to pivot here, like, are you doing those small disciplines in your marriage? Are you having the date nights? Are you having those intentional conversations with no distractions?
Okay. I see the correlation here.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's really, Michelle, I don't remember who was on the show that talked about this, but they talked about, this concept of marriage being like a bank account, and I think it's asking, is your marriage growing? Are you making more deposits than withdrawals?
I'm not certain, but I actually am a little bit. I think it was Pastor Reed.
Okay.
He talks about that ATM analogy often.
Nice. Well,
so maybe it was, I think
shout out to him. That's
talked
awesome.
about that before. Yeah. So are you say that again. So are you making enough deposits?
Yeah. I mean, are you making more deposits than withdrawals?
Yeah.
Do you have a positive balance in your quote unquote marriage account?
Yeah.
Yep. Because it's so easy to just take, take. But these are the small disciplines where you're adding, you're adding a balance to your marriage account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I think those hard conversations are necessary, but even from a verbal or daily standpoint, are you putting in enough positive affirmations and compliments, or are you just tearing them down? I think that ATM analogy is super good to look at it that way.
I mean, I think about this, and as we talk about this idea of compounding, right? Of, man, can you imagine one date night a week for 40 years?
Wow.
like what that would do to your balance.
Yeah.
Like, or that 10 minutes a day, every single day of just eye to eye contact, just conversation, no distractions, 10 minutes a day, every day for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like that compounds to an awesome marriage, to an amazing marriage.
I mean, so a date a week for 40 years, is that 2000, like 2080? Is that right?
I don't know.
Let me just keep my calculator. Yes.
Yeah.
It's 2080.
Good math, Michelle.
I've been studying how our son has learned math, and here's what I did in my head. So I know that 5 times 4 is 20, and then I just added zeros, and then I know that 2 times 4 is 8. Added that 2080.
Nice.
Anyways.
That's awesome.
Simple maths.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think about this often with our kids too. People will say, gosh, your kids are amazing. Like how did he do it? It's been all of these tiny things, consistency over time yielding results is that compound interest. When Ella was probably four years old, she started coming to Celebrate, and we were serving in kids ministry, and she would attend 1 service a week, 2, sometimes 3. And truly our kids environment, Celebrate Kids, is so much fun. She loved it in there. It wasn't like, oh, you made her stay. No, she loved it. I mean, some kids go to daycare all day long, but how much more powerful is the word of God, right? Like, hello, this is good for them, and she loved it. So she would just be all these drops in her bucket, all this interest that was compounding time after time, hundreds of times in our kids' ministry. And then every week alongside us as a middle schooler and a high schooler. And now she's at college, plugged into a life group, co-leading a life group. She is, sad when she has to miss her home church down at her college campus. And just, she's incredible. And our son, the same, they're both in the Word every day. I don't know how many years long Ella's Bible app streak is, but I mean, just consistency over time. But that's what it can be in your marriage too. So Ryan, for us, I think of the example of our life group and going back to church. So we talked about where we go to learn, but now it's applying that as a consistent discipline, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the discipline of everything. So you have to be learning, but you also have to be disciplined in that. So for us, it's just choosing not to miss. Like, it's either a priority or it's not.
Yeah.
Right? Church, these habits, they're either a priority or it's not. And ultimately, your schedule shows that, right? They say you can tell about a person by looking at their calendar and their bank account. So where are you actually spending your time? You can say that faith is a priority, but if you're not doing the things to grow it, then ultimately it's not a priority in your life. So for us, it's been consistently being in a life group. We meet every other week. We went to that schedule because people were missing, and we just wanted to take that off the table. And we said, you know what? Instead of you guys self-selecting, or not you guys, no, like, hey, you guys, instead of people self-selecting when they would miss, we're just going to do every other week and then make every possible effort to be there on those every other week. So tonight, after we record, we'll go eat a quick dinner, and then we'll go to life group. Yeah. And we've done that since we were dating. We've shared with you guys about how much that shaped how we dated and just that accountability. So now, Ryan said coming up on 15 years of marriage, we've been in that life group for 16 years, or not that life group, it's changed over the years, but we've been in a couple's life group for 16 years.
Yeah.
So think about that. Every other week for 16, some of those weeks were weekly, so probably averages to every other week with, some seasons where maybe, every few weeks in the summer, but probably on average every other week for the last 16 years, we've been going to a community group, a life group community group where we've been around other couples growing and working on our marriage.
Yeah.
Or, God grows it, but we've been working on doing all of the steps to cultivate and fertilize and water and plant and all of that so that God can grow our marriage.
Right.
So I think of that community group and church.
Yeah.
We've been disciplined in attending.
Yeah, Michelle, and really, I think this comes back to again this idea of compounding. Why have we done those things? Because we've seen the fruit and we know what it turns into. and I think that's the part of it, going back to that quote, I think this is important to understand about compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And I think it's important. It's really important to understand these small little habits, these small things matter.
Yeah.
Because it's either you compound and you earn it or you pay for it. And there is a cost.
Sure.
If you're not doing these things, these small little things, these small things to add to your marriage, there will be a cost and you will pay it.
So it's not even that you're not earning it, but you're also paying it.
Yeah.
It's like a double ding.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that James Clear quote as well, that you're going down to zero. So you can't grow and compound what's not there.
Right.
So you have to put something into that ATM to be able to cultivate that. And I think you're right, Ryan. And when you look at all of this over the years now, it's like, oh my gosh. So 15 years of us going to a community group, that's incredible. And looking back, it's like, that number is so big, it might seem daunting. How can you even go to that many? But it's just one thing at a time. It's just 1 week, just going this week, and then the next time going, and then the next time. And before you know it, you are compounding your investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just starting and then being disciplined and committed to continuing, knowing that God will bless it.
Yeah.
He'll honor that investment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And, I think it's also important if you haven't started, that's okay. It's really a matter of starting. That's the most important date, like now.
Yeah. When was the best time to start? Or, they say this with trees. When was the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago? When's the next best time? Today. Would it have been great? Like maybe you're thinking, gosh, what if I would have started 15 years ago like the O'Connors, or 16 years ago with a community group? Yeah, that would have been great. But do you know the next best time to start? Today. Today.
Right. Absolutely.
Find a community group.
Yeah.
Get plugged in. Be committed to going to your local church, because we're created for community. You need people to grow your faith.
Yeah.
And the result is exponential growth.
Yeah. I mean, look at the numbers, Michelle. And I don't care if you're 70 years old and you said, oh man, I've lived a life not doing these things. 10 years, you doubled your money. On going back to that.
Sure.
If I said if you started today and you can have, double the marriage that you have today, would it be worth it?
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Yeah, I love that, Ryan.
Like that's the beauty of compounding. It doesn't matter. Like you just need to start.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, start.
So Ryan, you gave examples of, for small disciplines, you gave examples of a date night once a week, right? That was the example of the once a week for 40 years, or maybe it's intentional conversation. Just figure it out in your head right now. What do you want that to be? What do you want that discipline to be that you can start compounding? So, or is it 10 minutes of conversation every night when you and your spouse are together for the first time after work? Or is it starting to attend a local church and being committed to doing that? Is it joining a community group? You can find those on our website and get plugged in. Is it serving? That's an area we haven't talked about, but oh my gosh, when we were still dating, we joined the Celebrate Kids ministry. And do you know a great way to learn and grow in your faith? It's teaching it to kids, because they're going to hold you accountable. You can't get out there and be teaching them if you're not yourself in the Word of God. So you're going to start kind of being forced to, and not forced, but you're going to want to start growing and doing those things so you can go and teach them also. But you're going to learn about the Bible at a really foundational level. And it's incredible. We loved our time in kids ministry. Yeah. You then moved with our daughter up to youth ministry. And pandemic happened and we shifted. You were pretty ill, so we pivoted, and then I started doing stage communicator, and that just like God honored every time we said yes, we got asked to do something. God honored that too. Like he saw us, he honored it. Stage communicator, as I can't communicate here, stage communicator. And that led to, kind of part of what led to, I think, the ask for the podcast hosting. Yeah. And of course, it'd been on your vision board and a lot of prayer, and God was working in all sorts of ways on that. But each of these things just led to another thing that grew us in our faith and really yielded a lot of fruit. So I think that's another discipline too. Can you call it serving a discipline, or maybe just the discipline of committing to that and showing up to serve others?
Yeah, so absolutely.
But you could do so many different types of small things that are going to be discipline that will compound.
Absolutely.
So, Brian, great show.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you for sharing your investing 101.
Yeah, there you go.
As it pertains to marriage with our listeners.
Absolutely.
I loved that. I love it's a good analogy. Is that the word?
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good visual for people to have in their head and apply to their marriage. So, and thank you to our listeners for joining us today. We hope that you are able to right now just think about those things that you can start doing as disciplines, and then using this time to watch that grow exponentially. So commit to it today. Talk about it with your spouse, and we're excited to hear about how you are able to see the growth from this show. So we have resources at Celebrate.church/marriage. And we also have our Instagram that is now alive and well with fresh content.
Exciting.
So Celebrate Marriagecast on Instagram. And we hope that you have a great week.
Have a great week.